said was the only major American political figure right now who is offering any comfort to these people is President Trump. I mean, it's unbelievable. You have no GOP support. You have nobody, not Gary Cohn, not Mnuchin. You have CEOs leaving in droves. I'm with CEOs, Walmart, GM, 3M, Merck. These are major American companies saying, Mr. President, you're wrong on this. So, it's not just about the media. It's not just about people trying to unfairly target the president because of politics. There's something beyond politics at play.
Can I respond to the, you talk about fighting Nazis, and what you see a lot on Twitter from a lot of people is they're comparing the Antifa to soldiers landing on D-Day.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Let's make sure that you don't use every crisis. You don't want to let it go to waste, but don't use it to mainstream another violent group. Because there was another violent group there, which is what's happening right now. The media is actually mainstreaming Antifa, using this kind of crassly, this event, to mainstream a violent group. And I think it's really important, Juan, you're right, to call out the violent groups on your side. Both sides should do that. Now, this is where I'm going to get to a point about why, during the campaign, I never tried to Trump-splain what he did because there were other options available. It's not my place to explain his mistakes. As a president, now, I try to give him the benefit, and I try to...
So I'm listening to these clowns, the sycophants on Fox, that are all capitulating to the hysteria from the left, and that the right wing is the danger, not Antifa, not the communists. Let me give you some perspective. At the height of the Confederacy, there were 4 million black slaves. Now, that's a lot when you measure them, especially by the percentage of the Southern population. But, how many years are we going to cry about this? It took 80 years for America to throw off slavery. That's all slavery was in America. And that was only in 7 states. So 7 states for 80 years had slaves. From 1789, the founding of the country, to the emancipation in 1863, roughly 81 years. In a world that knew slavery, and still does today, for millennia. Thousands and thousands of years. There's more slaves today in Africa than ever before. Do you get that? There are more black people enslaved in Africa today than in any time in history, but you don't hear that. And little Pratt boy, Juan Williams, with his new haircut, is quoting Bernie Sanders like he is the E4, the elder, the wise old man that we should all emulate. He's a fucking communist. And in the last 100 years, communists have killed more people than almost every other regime in the world put together, including Hitler. Do you get that? There were more slaves under Stalin and Lenin in the Soviet Union by about 50 million compared to the 4 million we had for 80 years, just to give you some perspective. Communism did more to enslave the world and still does in China. And this clown quotes the same corporate monsters betraying Trump as people we should emulate and venerate. These corporate thugs who've gone to China and Vietnam and India, and why do they go there? Because they hire them as slaves. See? All you people on the left that don't like slavery, you want to wear Under Armour? Go see where they make their goods. And when you see some kid sewing your kids' $250 Air Jordan sneakers together, go tell yourself that kid isn't a slave, working in a slave factory like in China, making sneakers for the inner city ghetto kids in America so they can walk around and venerate their demigods like Michael Jordan. Okay. The hypocrisy, of our country and time. You know what an America is to me? This is a typical American. He'll go to a soccer game, let's say in the Olympics. He'll wear his USA sweatsuit made in China. He's wearing his Nike sneakers made in China. He waves his American flag made in China. He wears his USA hat made in China. And he chants USA, USA. And then he drives home in his Japanese and Korean car. Do you get how full of shit you are, America? You want to talk about slavery in the 1860s? Pretty sad.